There he is.
There he is.
I can brag today, Keith. You know why?
Why is that, Mark?
I think it's colder in Nebraska than it is up in Canada.
Man, it was blue skies and beautiful. Like usually when we get the blue skies up here, it's a little chilly. But today, my wife was actually heli skiing today, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was like 8 degrees Celsius, which is very warm for this time of year for us.
Man, I can't even take the dog out because if she pees, she'll be glued to the snow. That's how bad it is. It's like unreal how, I mean, schools are actually closed here because of the cold.
Yeah, well, you called me earlier and asked if school's closed when it snows, and if that was the case, we would never go to school. So
yeah, but you guys are probably a little more equipped for it up there than we are down here. Oh, we do a lot sometimes, but
we do. I have to say, Marty, I was at the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show in Portland this weekend. I got back late last night, and I did the drive down there, and I was forewarned about the massive snowfall in Portland, and and it was crazy, but not so much snow. It was pretty easy. We
got a warm spot to have this show. We got the third matchup tonight.
We do
here, and the winner of last week's was the Hoover.
One of the Hoovers won last week.
Yeah. So he's in the next round. So things are progressing. And tonight is going to be it's going to be kind of exciting, yet I don't know if I want to look because my wife had an accident this weekend with her finger, and I witnessed that, and now I'm going to see another one. I don't know if I can take two of these in a row.
You know what else you have to realize today is that I wasn't going to bring this up, but I have to because it hits home personally.
Yeah.
Today is National Thumb Appreciation Day. And I actually could show you much grosser pictures than this, but I lost half of my thumb in a wood splitting incident. And let me tell you, fishermen out there, we've all been sponsored by whoever gave us thumbs at some point in our life. Some of us have taken better care of them. Yeah. It's not as easy to tie knots or flies when you have half a thumb that doesn't bend.
And I totally.
And I'm not lying.
I totally get that because I can't bend mine up. This one because I've broken both of my hands where the thumb joint is in the last one last year.
My family gets mad when I can only do this because it doesn't reach.
Like a broken heart there. Okay, so we're gonna bring Mike in here. We got Mike. He's a PA out of Florida. He invented that little deal, that little praying mantis thing down. I think it's a praying mantis.
Yeah. So Mike.
Go ahead.
Mike and I met in Orlando at ICAST last year. And become good friends and good partners working together. And Mike is the genius behind the whole de-hooker, the human de-hooker tool. And things are going well for him. I'm super pumped to be a friend of his and working with him. And the guy, I'm sure if you haven't seen yet, you got to check it out, dehookertool.com. He's been presenting the whole YakOff Awards, providing prizes for a lot of these podcasts that we're doing. And he is the human pin cushion, basically, which maybe you'll see tonight.
All right, here we go. Let's bring him in. Oh, wrong one. Thanks for waiting, guys.
Preview of coming attractions.
You know what? I pressed the wrong button.
It's all right. We are live. Oh, there he is.
That was some other room. I don't know what that was.
Here I am in my Florida attire.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, where do you want me to start, Keith? You want me to tell you how things started?
I just want to say, first of all, thanks in front of everybody here. Like Mike's one of the reasons that we're able to put on these YakOffs and been a great sponsor and partner and supporter of everything and willing to do everything and get his product out there because it's a product that needs to be. It's like a fire extinguisher. Everyone needs one, but you don't hope to ever use it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Mike has built. And I'll let you tell the story because it's a very strongly patented, wicked tool, expanding now into new colors and sizes and everything. Yeah. And I'll let you take the floor here. I'll let you go for it.
It surprises me to this day that it hadn't existed before I thought of it. And even when I went to ICAST and people were like, where has this been? I even felt like a fool that I didn't think of it sooner. But primarily where it came from, I'm a boat captain. I do some guiding. I do tours. I live on the water. I could see my boat.
Wow.
You would think this came to me while fishing, and I've been hooked. Everybody's been hooked. You pull them out, string method, think nothing of it. But the idea actually was born out of the ER because, in Southwest Florida, people come in all the time with hooks stuck in them in various places. And I felt like we really had nothing to offer them but lidocaine, because there's no standard of care. There's a couple things out there that work really well. The string method, the needle method. Docs that don't fish aren't familiar with the string method. As far as I know, there's only one place that ever taught specific methods to remove hooks. So, as I was sitting there after I pulled a hook out one night, I'm like, we have a tool for everything. And we're pulling out tool, and depending on who it is, you're either, some guys are still pushing them through, pulling them out with pliers, and a lot of that stuff is archaic to me. Pushing hooks through ended when the string method came around. Nobody wanted to pull a barb against flesh, but when the string method came around, which was an ingenious idea to press down on the front of the hook and disengage that barb. You could come backwards now. The problem with the string method, though, is it's cumbersome to make. Not everyone knows how to use it. You can miss a lot of times, and it's just not something that's handy. And you usually need two people. If I'm out fishing on a kayak and I get a hook in my left or right arm and I'm alone, I only have one arm to do it. How are you doing the string method? Right. So I came home and I grabbed a screwdriver in my garage and I bent the front of it and I soldered on two BBs from my son's BB gun, and I got an actual super small fish hook and I soldered that on to try to emulate that.
Sure.
I started prototyping this thing on myself. And as soon as I saw it worked, I didn't say a word to anybody, not even my wife. I'm like, this is either ridiculous or super, super cool. So the next thing I did was I pulled out a phone book and I thought I need to go talk to an attorney and see if this is something that could be produced. It doesn't exist. I did a bunch of searches, and sure enough, the guy said, you know what? There was something from 1905 that was some kind of multifunctional contraption that never went anywhere. I think you're good. So I applied for the patent, and that was a few years ago. And then I went through all the processes of narrowing down the exact design, which has more of an ergonomic handle. There's a grip here so that you don't slide. There's a triggers for your finger. So what I wanted was for a novice guy who never pulled a hook out before, it's hard enough to try to teach them the string method. But when you put this in your hand, you feel confident. This thing is not going to slip out of your hand, wet, dry, slimy. It's just not going anywhere. And it's super simple to use. You just put this the hook on the tool around the throat of the hook in the flesh. The head goes over the shank. And all you do, I actually built in an offset into this handle, like a 5-degree offset. So if all you did was straighten out the hook, that's enough to make that little barb press against the bottom channel of the ingoing hole and ride out the bottom as you all you got to do is straighten it out to get it there, and then just pull it straight back and it'll go right out the hole it went in. Now, there is a caveat to this whole thing, just like the string method. The dermis right under your epidermis is full of collagen and elastic material. So if you go super slow, you're going to get that ugly tenting thing that scares everybody to death. The string method, you pop it. Well, it's the same thing with this. When you put it on there and you get it in position, you pop it right out. It is completely painless coming out. I just had a guy do a big testimonial on my site. He's like, I never used this before and I just did it. He goes, and I'll be damned if everything you didn't say was absolutely true. He goes, it did not hurt. It worked perfectly. It came right out.
Yeah.
So since then we went to colors, and I have 2 new models coming out that the guys at ICAST who really love this, and kayakers especially.
You also changed it, right, from your rotomolding now?
I did. This is now a resin handle that is injection molded. This is solid stainless steel, all components, and this is a solid resin handle.
Right.
I have a little float that goes on the back of this that actually is hollow. You can unscrew it, put Band-Aids and
Oh, wow.
like a alcohol swab. So if you pull a hook out, you could just unscrew that, clean it up, put a Band-Aid on, and go back to fishing. I think a tournament.
Shots of vodka and stuff can go in there.
Oh yeah, you can fill it with whatever you want. I prefer bourbon, but if you want vodka, go right ahead.
Right.
So it doesn't float, but there's a floaty that helps it float.
Exactly. This will not float. It's made it's not hollow at all. It's made like a brick. Yeah. But when you think in terms of, like, I watched a couple of tournaments where guys, a guy got a hook in his arm, and and I don't know if this is the last hour of the tournament or not, but I'm sure it's very important that time is of the essence. And when your partner has to stop to come back to help you to take a hook out. Now, two guys in a tournament aren't fishing to rig up a string to pull out a hook. I guarantee you, if this was on that boat, they could have grabbed it, one guy while the other guy's still fishing, to go back to fishing. So, there's a lot of cool. For me, it was simplifying a method for the ER, but it evolved into a whole plethora of vacancies in the fishing and medical world. So when I was at ICAST, the guys, there was a bunch of guys there. The kayak guys, especially, were talking about maybe shortening this up and making a handle that was more suitable to them in the kayak. Maybe put a carabiner on it. That is prototyped. It's ready. It's almost ready to go. And then there was a couple of guys, especially a couple of guys I watch on TV that have fly shows, that were asking about a smaller version, and the crappie guys, which kind of shocked me because I don't think of the small hooks as being a problem. But I can't tell you how many guys came up to me that were talking about sabikis and flies. And I'm like, well, can't you just pinch that and pull it out? And they're like, hell no, buddy, try it. They don't, it ain't easy. So I designed a new one. It's called the Dink. And it's a small version. You could hang it on a vest. You could, and or wherever, easily accessible. And it will go from, I just demoed on myself a size 4 sabiki hook with my prototype. And I don't know if you know how big that is, but that's small. That's like a nymph. So that's coming out too. So we got a lot of exciting things going on, cool colors. That'll be available in a tri-pack, because a guy like me, I do all kinds of fishing. I would need all 3 of them. But when I go back to ICAST this year, it's going to be really exciting because I'm going to be the guy that says, you asked for it and I'm bringing it back. Here it is.
Awesome. What do they run? What kind of price are you talking about?
This is $59.99 retail. And it's right now it's only available on my website, but it's going to be available in a lot of other places soon. And like I said, it's built like a tank. So unless I don't even know how you could break this. I mean, it's solid steel, but it doesn't float. So that's a caveat. But I do have floats, and we all have floats for things that fall off the boat.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So,
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I had the privilege where I worked to demo the initial version for about a year or two with permission. And man, it was rock solid. Everything that came in was boom, 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 boom. Now, everything has its exceptions. I would tell guys that are out there, if all you need is a hook pull, this is your tool. But if that hook is around your eyes or somewhere dangerous, you go to the ER for that kind of stuff. But most of us get them, in places where we can. Yeah.
Not dangerous.
Now you can do it with 2 hands and backwards. Like I pull them out backwards, and so it's really, really, really versatile and really cool to see how this thing has evolved.
Have many doctors asked you about it for like hospitals and so forth?
So I do have a lot of doctor friends who fish, and a lot of doctors that I work with who have their own. As far as selling it to the hospitals directly, I have one that I'm having prototyped out for specific, whether it needs a specific like Class 3 FDA approval or not for hospitals to buy and use. But I, we have these. If you have one, docs are using them, PAs are using them at work.
Yeah. Even veterinarians, right? You were saying.
So the other thing was I had a couple of shows that I went to, guys coming up to me that were vets, and they were like, "Well, we get these in the dogs' throats and in pelican bills and gulls that people bring in," and so I've been working with them to maybe, a lot of them like it just the way it is, but some guys were saying if this stem was a little bit longer to reach down further, that would work. So I'm in some discussions on what to settle on for how the veterinarians want it too. So it's going. It was a trunk. It's a tree now. It's going in all kinds of directions.
I got another question. One more.
Is it about your doggy paddle tournament? You want one now?
No, it's all good. My question is, what about a fish? Say you got a hook stuck in a fish and you can't get it out.
So, people ask me that all the time when they come up, and I'm like, I think you're missing the point here. This is a human. However, if you see an instance where you can't get it out any other way, then have at it, buddy. I mean, use it however you see fit, but it was designed for humans.
Yeah.
It'd be great practice.
Yeah. I mean, I have, everybody's like Keith's saying, the human pin cushion. There's not a lot of people that get in line to demo hooks being pulled out. So I am that guy. Me and a couple of mannequin arms and hands and feet that I have.
We're lined up. Let's go.
Yeah.
So can we bring Jake and Dontrell in here on the side so we can get their reaction?
Yeah, what I'm going to do
doing this?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them in, and I'm going to bring Captain Mike in after that. Okay, Mike. And I'm going to bring you on the share screen part. Okay.
Sweet.
So we got those.
Yeah,
guys.
This is also exciting for a first for the YakOff Awards. We've got Jake and Dontrell coming in with 2 new boat brands this week we haven't had yet with Vibe and Old Town. So they're our first Vibe and Old Towns in here. So, there we go.
But first of all, let's get these. So these guys are matched up this week.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking to them, but we got Captain Mike here going to demonstrate getting hooked and then removing the hook.
Yep. So I have a bunch of different things here. I don't know exactly what you guys wanted to see or not see. The other problem is I don't know how, I think keeping it simple would be probably the easiest thing, but I have treble hooks. I have a spoon. I have some big redfish jigs.
Oh, gee, I can't. Would you? Hey,
do them all. Do them all.
Afraid of that.
Would you guys stick a hook in your arm on purpose?
Well, if you're trying to sell product you developed, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm asking Dontrell and Jake. Would you stick a hook in your arm on purpose?
No. I was watching a video of him doing it, and it was just like,
would you do it if you invented the thing that's going to pull it out and you can sell?
That might be what put me over the edge. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
I actually was going to do like maybe 2 out of 3 trebles or something, but I don't think we'll be able to appreciate it from the angle that I'm in. So I'm going to just.
Man!
And this is a.
One is good, Mike.
It's right out of the pack. It's Redfish Magic Strike King.
Oh, man.
And I get a lot of guys who, you see that barb? There's a barb there.
Oh, yeah.
Big barb.
A lot of guys that say you file in the barbs before you do it and all that nonsense.
Oh, man. How can
let me just clean this up a little. All right. So it's going to go in. I'll do it. Think about there. Did you hear that?
You can hear it like puncture.
All right, so
it hurts.
There, you can see the other end tenting up. Let me move that.
Oh man! Oh no!
See that tenting up right there?
Yeah.
It's all the way down. I don't know. Like it's all the way down to the.
You can see your skin lifting up everywhere.
Yeah. So.
Yuck.
So there it is.
Oh man!
Now all you have to do is let's say you were in fishing alone and lily pads, whatever. And if this had the body of a jig on it, you could go right over the rubber, or you could just lift it up and go under.
Also, take a look. Like, you're right-handed, right?
So I'm right-handed. I don't like.
And you put that in your right arm, so you're doing that with your left arm.
I don't like to mess with my ink, so it actually works out because I get to use it left-handed, which makes it even harder.
Right.
So what you do is you put the hook of the tool around the throat of the hook that's in there. I don't know how much of that you could see. And then go right over the top like that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So it's on there now. So all I'm going to do is press. Now, the part that I was talking about, the dermis. So if I start pulling slow, this thing's just going to tent and look ugly, and everybody gets nervous, and then you got a paranoid person on your boat already, or worse. So I'm just going to press down and.
Oh, gee.
So there's the hook. There's the hole.
What? I missed that. Do that again.
All right. Hold on.
Did
Here it is. So I would say it was in probably right to about right in there.
Did it make just a small hole? Then it didn't rip the skin or anything.
And that's another thing I get. So let me just clean this up. I don't know that you'll even be able to see the hole.
Oh man.
Yep, I can see it.
That's the size diameter of the shank of the hook. That it's no big, no flesh, no tendons, no soft tissue, nothing. And look, woohoo! I can use all my fingers. Everything's good. So
crazy.
The whole concept was once that's on and you press down a little bit, that the bottom of that hook right there, taking that barb off the top wall and riding it out the other way, out along the bottom, just by going like that.
Wow.
Pops right out.
Awesome.
That's me on a kayak using my left hand alone, pulling a hook out. I've done it with trebles. I've done it with 2 out of 3 trebles. I've done it with 2 out of 3 trebles on 3 hooks at once. I've done it with spoons, rattle traps.
Yeah. Many people that are watching this and have been involved in the YakOffs have been watching the treble, triple, double, because that's a bonus entry.
I wanted to, that was hard enough to see, and I don't think it would be appreciated. I have a treble here that I could do 2 out of 3 trebles, but the concept with that is the very same procedure, only when you have 2 hooks in that are kind of riding, you go over the top and the same concept happens, and then you just pull it straight out. So, it's really a shame. I'm not trying to keep anyone from getting any medical attention that they need. If you need a tetanus shot, if you need antibiotics, call your doctor. You don't need to come in to get that stuff. It'll be there when you're done fishing. But man, to come into an ER just to get a hook taken out for something like that, or somewhere else, or it's way simpler if you have a buddy with you. You could just walk over and go out, or you catch a fly in your shoulder and just pop it right out.
Or like you've said to me, Mike, too, in those instances when you're 80 miles offshore and you've invested with buddies and a weekend away and beer and gas and bait, and you don't want to turn around and come back in.
If I go east of here for a half an hour or an hour and I'm way back in the back country, now I don't fish bait, but if I'm a guy that's back there with bait, now I got to come all the way back in. That's all the gas, all the bait, all the ice, all the everything that I needed to go out there. Not only ruining my day, but if I brought a buddy or two, you ruin their day as well. And if it's just to have a hook taken out, man, $59.99 is a hell of a lot cheaper than all of that and then going to an ER. So, and that's the damage.
And unlike a fire extinguisher, you can reuse that many times.
Over and over and over again. It's a one and done.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And I got, like I said, I got the dink coming out for those guys that get those little sabikis and all of them, which shocked me. But, once I did it and, you try to get your fingers on there and pull those things out, those barbs are a bitch too. So,
well, the cool thing that I see, Captain Mike, is that if I'm in a kayak and I meet somebody, which obviously I have in the past, and I go up to them and they go, "Hey man, I got a hook in me. Can you help me out?" And I say, "Yeah." And so I pull my D hooker out, and they go, "Well, I don't know if I want you to do it." I say, "Do it yourself."
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
and
I
and
couldn't agree more. You do it. So, it was kind of at ICAST, it was similar, but not the same incident. Guys were coming up to me and they were so impressed by this tool. They're like, "Hey, man, your rubber hand and all is really cool, but I want to see it in a real person." So they were like, "Will you stick a hook in me?" And I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not sticking a hook in. But if you stick
You
a hook
can.
in you
yeah,
and you come back, I'll take it out." But next thing you know, there was cameras and people and guys are sticking hooks in their hands and saying, "Here,
oh,
figure this
man.
out." So, and to the very last one, they all were like, "Holy crap, this is unbelievable. This is way better than the string method." And
Yeah,
I have all that on video, and
yeah.
they were a bunch of great guys, and
Awesome.
it was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, wow, it's incredible invention, man. Good,
Thank you.
good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the thing is you're a doctor guy, and you're
PA.
a
Yep.
PA, and you're a fisherman,
And a captain.
and so yeah, and you get it, you know, and
Yeah.
that's
Although
CV.
since he invented this tool and things have been going well, he's not quite in the ER as often as he used to be.
I wish. That's the whole goal.
Yeah,
25 years, I'm about ready to sink my teeth into this, but
yeah, so cool.
Yeah,
nothing happens as fast as you want. But this is happening pretty damn
yeah,
fast. So
yeah.
Well, Mike. First of all, let me be the one to say huge thanks to you for all the belief in us and helping get it out there, and also for being a presenting sponsor of the YakOffs, being a massive reason why we can be making this happen for everybody.
cool.
Now I would love to bring in Jake and Dontrell, our first Vibe in Old Town contestants, week number 3 of round 1. So far, we have our first round 2 competition set up. So let's chat with these boys and hear what you got to say.
How about Dontrell? What do you got?
Hey, how you doing? With the de-hooker tool?
Well, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you
Tell
from?
us about you.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, fishing out of Old Town, AP 136. Um, I fish pretty much tournaments everywhere, whenever I'm free, uh, local or national. Um, well, Bassmasters is the only national one this year, so um, I'll be doing most of those, and then fishing with my local club with CKA, Carolina Kayak Anglers. Uh, I'll probably do a couple Queen City events if Queen City and Central Carolina kayak fishing whenever I get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Also be fishing with KBT Kayak Bass Team Series whenever our schedule comes out. I have to figure that out, and I'll be fishing with my teammates doing that as well. So I stay pretty busy fishing all year.
Nice.
Go ahead there, Jake.
Yes, I'll go. So my name is Jake Suvak. I'm from Greer, South Carolina. I fish out of Vibe Shearwater 125. I've had a Vibe Shearwater for, I think it's been 5 years now since they first came out with it. And it's been a really cool kayak to kind of build up and slowly progress with. And really, I started kayak fishing in like 2016 with like a little 9-foot sit on top kayak, and I'm like 6'4", so I looked really goofy in it. And just kind of slowly built up, got a little bit bigger kayak, added some electronics. And that was something that I always loved about kayak fishing in general, just being able to slowly build it up and, work with a budget of a college kid. And, until I got a big boy job and kind of was able to get better and then have sponsors help wherever they could and things like that. To get to the point where I've got it now, where it's got everything that I could possibly want. Just like Dontrell, I kind of fish as much as I can, anywhere I can. I think this year I'm going to try to get to more of the Kayak Adventure Series tournaments, and as much local stuff as I can. There's the South Carolina Bass Nation, and Queen City. KBF. I'm trying to think what else there is. Anything that pops up. There's a couple Sunday trails around us that have been popping up too, like on Lake Murray. So I like those a lot. They're low buy-in and, like a 6-hour tournament on a Sunday. So it's something to just, go fishing and chill and have some fun with. But yeah, that's about it.
And you both of you guys are kind of in an area where you really don't have to travel, 10, 12 hours if you don't want, like where I'm at in Nebraska, we want to go to a real big one. It's going to be 10 hours.
Yeah.
8. Well, there's a few that are 4 to 5, but for you guys, man, the Queen City, they're rocking it out there too. And you've got a couple of Bassmaster ones, don't you, in that area?
Yeah. I mean, Queen City's an awesome trail.
Yeah.
They get an awesome turnout for all of their events. They might as well be a national trail. Like, for it being something that's local, they've done a really good job of putting themselves on the map. But I don't think there's anything in South Carolina or North Carolina. Dontrell, you say you're North Carolina, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So is there any Bassmaster?
No. This year we'll be doing some traveling.
Yeah.
So we just had Florida a couple weeks ago. The next one I think is Dale Hollow, so that's Tennessee, so that's another 8 hours. So at least the ones I plan on hitting, it's Florida, Dale Hollow, and then Champlain. Champlain, so that's upper New York, so Connecticut area. So that's 12 hours for me.
That's a lot of traveling, man.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised this year there wasn't anything in South Carolina. There's almost always like a Lake Murray or a Hartwell or Santee Cooper or something like that.
Yeah, I'm guessing if there was a Hobie, that we would have had a Murray tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's take a look at one of the videos here first. We're gonna look at Dontrell here.
All right, so this is my autopilot, 136 from O-Town. We'll start at the bow, and of course we have the 45-pound thrust motor with spot lock. And then we come down and I have my graph. It is a Humminbird Helix 10. And everything on this kayak is powered by amped outdoor batteries. I have a 19 amp hour in the hatch for my graph.
You guys both did snow
of course,
filming.
you have the Yak Power navigation light, so you can be legal with the motor.
First time it snowed in South Carolina in the 3 years I've lived here.
Yak Power system here. Kayak cushion for comfort, of course. I put that on all my kayaks. In the back, I have a Yak Gadget saddle, and that just holds another bag full of plastics, soft plastics. Underneath,
More power.
I have a 100 amp hour amped outdoors battery. And in this hatch, I have another amped outdoors battery. This one.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there.
Yeah, don't show it all, Marty. Make them go to the website.
Yeah. Sorry about that. What I want to ask though is, like, Dontrell, your kayak is like loaded with battery power.
Yeah.
And so how much does that kayak weigh by itself by the time you get those batteries in there?
I have no idea. I bought a dynamic dolly for getting that boat in and out of the water, just because I knew it was going to be heavy.
Yeah.
And
it still floats, right, Dontrell?
Oh yeah, barely with me in it. Yeah.
There you go. That matters.
It's got a lot of. When I was watching it earlier the other day, I looked at so you're never going to run out of battery. You're not like Drew Gregory having to carry 4 of those and run out. You're not going to run out, are you?
No. The only thing that I would run out of is my motor battery, but that's why I have the spare, the backup 60 amp.
Nice. So if there's one thing that you think your kayak has a superpower of, what is it?
Well, the main reason I love it is spot lock. I've really gotten into fishing offshore as of the past year or two, and getting comfortable with that. And there's no better, especially for us kayak guys and fishing on a busy body of water.
Yeah.
If you catch a fish and you have to measure it, you're going to drift off your spot, and,
Yeah.
boats and whoever around, they can move in on you and all that stuff. So
Right.
you don't have to worry about that. I just catch a fish, measure it, and stay at my same spot. And so,
Nice.
so that's the one thing I really love about that boat, and that's the main purpose of it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Jake's got here.
Wait, one sec there,
What's
Marty.
going on,
One
guys?
thing
My
I
name
will
is Jake
say quick
Suvak, and
Go ahead.
is, and this just clicked in because I had a conversation with Howie at Newport today, who happens to be this bracket sponsor. There is something coming out tomorrow, so check out the Newport site about batteries and a compact.
Yeah, I
I'll
just
say.
saw that. Yeah,
It's coming out tomorrow, so everybody out there in podcast land, check out Newport's website tomorrow afternoon. There's going to be something pretty cool released.
Nice.
And that wasn't even a setup.
No, yeah, I saw that, and I was mad that I bought a battery for.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, check it out.
All right.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Marty.
All right. If I can find it here.
and today I am going to take
It's
you on a
snowing.
walkthrough of the Vibe Shearwater 125. Before we get started,
First
I'm
of all,
in South
seen it in a while.
Carolina, and it apparently decided to snow for the first time since I've lived here.
There it is.
On the day I wanted to shoot this video, so we got that fun effect going on with us. Anyways, I have had the Vibe Shearwater 125 since 2020 when it first came out, and I've loved this boat. It's been awesome. There's endless customization options. There's endless rigging options. There's so much stuff that you can do with it. And, I started out as simple as possible. I got it with the pedal drive and slowly built up. I added the motor. I started adding some electronics. I got a upgraded fish finder and then a second screen and then the forward-facing sonar, the Lowrance 0.1 at one point. So, I've got a lot going on in this boat, and it's something that I never thought that I'd have, especially when I started. I started in a 9-foot sit on top kayak with 2 rod holders and the good old fashioned milk crate. I would only go out with 2 rods, and now, as you can see, got more rods than I know what to do with. So, this whole adventure, kayak fishing adventure, has been awesome for me. It's been a lot of fun, just as a hobby and as something to look forward to every time it's not looking like this outside.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Great.
So I'll bring that back. Good stuff, you guys. And now, you guys that are watching, or anybody else that watches this later, you can go to those videos and see everything they've got. And this week, you're voting for the kayak that you think has what you think would be the most efficient, most effective. What else, Sir Keith?
That's about it. You're voting for what kind of turns your crank and what you like the best. It's not the most expensive. It's not the most gadget filled. It's just the most intuitive. Whatever you like, you vote on that. And coolest part is everything that when you watch these videos, you can go down to the rigging section there just below, and you can see where you can get these of your own and chat with all the anglers and ask how they did things. Pop on Instagram, and all their socials are there, and you guys can start some dialogue. Getting lots of comments about people chatting back and forth about how they found this or how they found that and how they installed it, and it's kind of working out exactly as I was hoping. So, pretty cool.
And so, Jake, to be fair, what's the one superpower your kayak has that
There you go.
you think is an advantage?
And I was also gonna say the spot lock, because I don't know if I can live without it, but I don't know, maybe the forward facing sonar instead, because there's times when I go out with the pedal drive still. So having the forward facing sonar has really changed the way I fish, and I've always liked fishing offshore, and before the forward facing sonar, I felt like that was something that kind of set me apart from the field, because I liked scanning around, finding brush piles or finding grass lines, finding stuff on the bottom to hit, because it really wasn't getting beat up as much as the bank in a kayak tournament. But now adding the forward facing sonar has just really enhanced what I was already doing. So I think that's the one thing I guess you could say I wouldn't leave home without.
Nice. Now, I know I think she's on here, Jennifer Solberg. She's got a kayak just like yours, Jake. And she had that thing with the spot lock on it before a lot of guys did around here. So she was kind of like the queen out there with her kayak, and she could motor around and everything, because motors really didn't take off here until the last couple of years up in the Midwest. But I think nationwide, like you go to a national event, and if you don't have a motor, you kind of feel naked.
Right.
Out there. But I don't, personally, I don't use a motor a lot. I have one, but I want to maneuver as best I can in the places that I can get right inside docks, right in maybe over or under cables, things like that, without it. But, there is a purpose for it. And that's, number one is, Dontrell, you probably get into that spot first, right?
No, not
No,
depends.
yeah, you guys got
Depends.
But still, it's less energy you got to expend during the day, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that definitely comes in handy when you're traveling and then you have to make your 8-10 hour ride home right after the tournament after fishing all day. So definitely don't feel as drained at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And also for pre-fishing and new bodies of water and stuff, right? You can just cover a lot more and check out the place much quicker than you could normally.
Tell you, one of the biggest mistakes I ever made with pre-fishing was cruising around with my motor and practicing, and then thinking I could do the same thing with my pedal drive when the tournament actually started, and not really be able to walk at the end of the day.
I know. I like the pedal drive just for the exercise part of it too, though. And then the other thing is that the pedal drive, if you got forward and reverse, you can use that as your spot lock as well when you're out there on it. But so anyway, so the good stuff, guys. And then so people can vote on the website, and you can vote every day. It renews itself on you, and you can vote. And every time there's a new angler, you can get those bonus points because the sponsors change each week, and you can get bonus votes, right, Keith?
Yeah, so you can gain extra after you vote for the angler that you want to move forward, basically. You can gain extra entries by doing things like liking on Facebook and with the sponsors and watching videos and all that kind of stuff. And then win a kayak of your own, motorized kayak of your own that Hoodoo is sponsored with, along with our other awesome sponsors.
And another thing is that you guys can see this list of items on these kayaks that these guys own. You can click on that, and that takes you right to the product that they have on their kayak.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool, too, to see that, where it makes it easier for guys just that want to upgrade their kayak. They can go, hey, I like Dontrell's, or like Dontrell's at the boat ramp, and some guy says, hey, that's a nice rig. How can I do that? Well, you send them right here to this website. And, well, that's still
whole gear list. Yeah.
Yeah, gear list there. It'll still be up after the thing's over, too, because, I mean, it's a website, so.
Yeah, and if you go back to that first page where all 16 anglers are, underneath each name is their social channels. Yeah. And you can go there and connect with them directly. Everybody, as far as I've seen so far, is more than willing to chat and say hi and accept new followers and let each other, that's our community, right? Like letting each other know how we did what we did and why we did it and learn from each other.
Anything else, guys, we want to visit about on? First of all, though, we got to do this. Every week we do this. So we're going to bring you over here. We're going to have, there we go. Hold on a second.
Got to get rid of that middle part.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to do the punch out thing.
Yeah, I'm going to unshare it. Stop screen share. All right. There we go. We're going to bring you guys side by side. It's like a video game, man. I'm playing like a video game. We're gonna Dontrell. He's attacking. No,
you got it.
I thought it's like a video game, man. All right, so
there you go.
Side by side. We got to have you guys face each other and give your.
You got to make them the same size, there, Marty. Come on, it's not fair.
I'm trying. We're gonna give
some fisticuffs, boys.
We're gonna have the UFC look here. So you
there we go.
Turn and then get the screenshot, Keith. You got to get a screenshot.
I'm getting it, but everybody turns the wrong way first.
Right.
I get it. All right, there we go. We got it.
Your best UFC look.
All right. No, you got to get the fists up.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see how I look.
There you go.
All right, get it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Next
oh,
one.
look at you guys. You both flexed.
Got it.
I saw your shirts
Oh
move.
my gosh. That's what
I got it. Sweet.
these are the kings, man.
This is going to be in the calendar.
Yeah, forget the bracket. Just do a calendar.
I'm gonna tell you right
Oh.
now, there's the toughest guy I've seen tonight yet. I hate to say that guy. Mike.
Yeah.
Puts a hook in her arm. I'm gonna bring him in here.
There we go.
Put him up here. So we'll get everybody back here before we go here tonight. So anyway, hope this has been fun for you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you having us on. This is great.
It's always
Yeah.
fun.
Definitely.
And when you went to make all your videos and stuff, I mean, if you're like me, it was getting winter, and you're like, oh man, how am I going to do this? Luckily for me, the snow had melted, that little that we had. But for you guys, you both had snow.
Yeah, they waited till it started snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get it like once every couple of years, and that week it decided to snow, and we're getting our second winter this week, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So that's how it usually works. We get a winter, a fall, spring where it warms up a little bit in the 60s, and then drops back down, snows again. And then next weekend it'll be back in the 60s. So
Yeah,
We got sunburnt on Sunday, and now we got a wintry mix tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
called the fall spring every year. The fall spring.
I don't know anything about that.
Mike always texts me. He's like, I send him pictures of me with my dog outside and making snowman and stuff, and he's like, looks like a great place to visit.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like I said,
Got
it's
to
gonna
live.
be, we're getting 35 below wind chills by tomorrow here.
It's 70 here.
yeah,
Wow. And
yeah.
hey,
That Florida weather is making me think about going back down
Mm-hmm.
this weekend for the.
Well, I'm from Pennsylvania. I mean, it's the reason I'm here. You know, up there it was always 6 months of driving yourself nuts. I mean, I went fishing as much as I could. Then you hunt for sheds because there's no seasons open, and if there's not a hunting season or a fishing season open, you're walking around in the woods aimlessly in freezing rain and mud. I was like, I need to get out of here.
so anyway, Keith,
Now you're in a tank top at 10 p.m.
Yeah, we're all bundled up here. Well,
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? You want to say anything about your kayak or what? Anything?
How about what you ended last week on? Talk to the audience here, and why do you think your boat is the best boat for you, and why they should vote for you?
Well, I guess I'll go. I got a lot of little things that are like little personal touches on my kayak. You know, I think a lot of us all have the electronics, the forward-facing sonar, a motor, the black pack, stuff like that. I've got a lot of like really small things that have been huge additions to me. Like one thing that I like to point out is the Gear Keeper retractable tethers. Those things have been awesome. I've dropped so many pliers in the water.
Right.
Now I've got one on my phone and one for my my pliers and one for my catch board, which I don't think that's a little overboard, but I had it, so I attached it. But they're really cool because they got like a specific amount of resistance where they won't impede your ability to actually use whatever it is that you're using.
Like a de-hooker.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking while Captain Mike was going through his stuff about the de-hooker. But I mean, it's something really cool like that, or like where I mount my catch board. Like I had an old catch board mount in my garage that I ended up putting on my captain's bridge so I can keep the catch board mounted right in front of me. So like little small things like that kind of, I think, set my kayak apart from others in the competition.
Nice. What about
Just making it your own, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
home in the water?
Dontrell?
For me, I mean, it's for it as advanced as the autopilot is. It's I like to keep mine pretty simple, or as simple as I can. I mean, I have all the latest gadgets and gadgets still, the graph and the forward-facing sonar and all that. But the reason I love the autopilot is that I can fish and I can have a clean open deck in front of me, and I have, everything has its place and it's organized. And the last thing you want to be on have to deal with is being on the water, and clutter is in the way and you're fighting fish and all that stuff. So I think the autopilot is the perfect platform for me, especially with tournament fishing. To me, it's like a mini John boat or a mini boat. I mean, it's effortless fishing. I know a lot of people get into this for the exercise, but which I do too. I mean, I have another boat for that too. Whenever I feel like getting some exercise in, but the autopilot makes it a whole lot easier. Especially when we're doing what we're doing and you're pre-fishing and practicing for 2-3 days and then having to go fish for another 2 days, and it gets tiring. So that autopilot really takes a lot of the load off of you, and it lets you enjoy fishing a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. I got to tell you guys, I remember when we had a national championship at Kentucky Lake one year, and that was kind of when the pedal drives were coming out. Everybody had pedal drive, and I was still in a Jackson Kilroy, and I paddled trying to keep up with my friends the whole time. And I'm not kidding. We covered 20 something miles of shoreline and so forth, and I paddled that entire time. And remember that we were pre-fished a couple days or practiced a couple days, and then the tournament was, I think it was 2 days in. But by the time I was done, man, I was spent, from that.
Yeah.
The pedal drive made it a little bit easier. Now, of course, you got the motors. But I look back and I go, how did we even do it, when we were doing that? And now we have all the luxury of having the motor on there, which it's kind of cool. When people see it, they just think it's pretty cool when you go by their boat or whatever, the docks. So, and remember, some people have never seen these unless they see them in person. They're not going to go out on the internet and look for them, So,
Yeah,
guys,
you get those looks a lot when you're at the boat ramp, and a lot of people are like, "That's a nice looking rig you got." And I was like, "I've never seen anything like it." And,
Yeah.
I mean, I was fishing during the Bassmaster event. Some older woman was on her dock, and she was like, "That's a nice boat." It was like, "I've never seen one like it. Is there a tournament or something?" I was like, "Yeah, there's about 200 of us spread out." And she was like, "Really?" I had no idea that was a thing. I was like, "Yeah, it's a big deal." And
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, but it's just fun, man, isn't it? It's just fun. How many years, Dontrell, you've been kayak fishing?
uh, seriously, since about 2019.
Okay.
That was the first time I did my first tournament with CKA. I did two tournaments that year. And then 2020 COVID hit, and I just decided that was just going to be all I did. And I just jumped into KBF, doing KBF tournaments before I really knew what I was doing. And
Nice.
that was it. I mean, I had my first kayak in 2016, 2017, something like that. Same thing, a old sit-in kayak from Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that. And same story with everybody else. They just upgrade year after year until they get where they are. Fun fact, I actually had a shearwater before I got into Old Town. So
you did?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I had a shearwater before I moved
There you
to
go, Cody.
So what about you, Jake?
I was going to say one thing there, and that's why it's so cool, because we have this competition with 16 prestigious anglers involved in this first round of it. And most of these people, besides guys like Chad Hoover and some other names like Marty that have been around for a long time, a lot of the guys and girls involved in this first round of the YakOffs, they've been involved for 5, 6, 7 years. So anybody out there watching, it's not that far off before you can be a YakOff member.
There you go. Yeah.
Right? Just get involved.
Yeah.
And let's hear about you, Jake.
So I started competing probably 2019. I mean, really, we were talking about earlier, the kayak bracket bass tournament. That was kind of the starting point when COVID hit, and I was able to go fishing just about every other day because I was working from home, but there wasn't actually any work to do. I had a lot of freedom to travel a little bit, go to some tournaments, and really start getting into it. I fished my very first tournament in 2018 in Massachusetts, actually, when I was going to college out there. I fished KBF in Ohio sometime in that time frame, but really got into it in basically during COVID. And I really got into it. I was doing all the kayak tournaments that I could find, and then doing a lot of the MLF BFLs as a co-angler. Had some fun doing that. Got to learn a lot that way, and have just kind of rolled with it ever since.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice. So you guys have been about between 6 to 8 years at the most there, maybe. And then Captain Mike, have you fished in a kayak?
Yeah, I actually have two of them. I paddle,
That's all right.
and it's I mean I love it. I can get places I've never gotten to before. I actually thought about putting it on the back of my boat, and
Yeah.
I'm just afraid to leave my boat unattended out there and go up
and then take off.
these creeks and come back and not be there. But yeah, it's like a sit on top, and I paddle around and fish. It's absolutely nothing like how cool these are, which is making me feel like I need one of these now. They are really, really something. I love it, but it's limiting. I mean, if I go out back, there's a small bay behind me, and then the Gulf and the 10,000 islands. But man, on a windy day, if I get a couple miles out there, it is work getting back. So
yeah, Dontrell, you can probably, I don't know, maybe you can verify this, but you have a boat too, right? Or you had a boat?
No, an actual boat? No.
No, I thought you had a boat. You said you were. Anyways, but all of you fished from a boat though at one time. Wouldn't you say that the tug is like a whole lot better in a kayak than it is in a boat, or not?
oh, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I look at Yakking with Jack, the guy. Have you guys seen him? Yakking with Jack, that guy.
Uh-huh.
He's out there catching gigantic fish in his kayak every day.
Kayak is to drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Fish gets a lot more tired just
Wearing the fish
pulling
out.
you around.
And guys, you got to, like, my first fish I ever caught in a kayak, of course, this is 1997, 98 in there. I caught a bluegill was the first fish I caught, and it actually pulled my kayak. I mean, it moved my kayak.
It was a big bluegill, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, a bluegill can move your kayak. And remember,
Yeah,
I had never had the sensation of catching a fish in a kayak. And then I catch a bluegill, it's moving my kayak. Oh my gosh. Then when I started catching bass in there, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the tug is in the drug in a kayak, believe me.
Marty, wait till you come up. Wait till you come up to the coast, and I get you hooked up to a halibut.
Yeah, I've caught halibut, but not in a kayak.
Yeah. Wait for that.
That'd be fun.
It was always weird when I was
Or a Chinook.
fishing between the BFLs and kayak tournaments. Like I'd spend all my time fishing in a kayak, and then I'd go back to a boat and try to fight a fish the same way I would in a kayak. And it's like,
Right.
oh, well, I'm not moving anymore, so I should probably not pull as hard. Like you lose that drag system of the kayak.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
weird.
And the angles are all different.
Yeah.
The angles are way different because I have guys that ask me to guide for them, but they want me to guide in their boat and they have me run the trolling motor, and I just hate it. I don't like doing it, but they don't want to go in a kayak.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've gone up and run the trolling motor. I'm like, oh God, how do guys stand like this all day?
Yeah.
Marty's in the boat on the bow with his paddle.
Should do that sometime. I should do that. So anyway, we're getting close to the hour here. Anything else, Keith? We got.
That's it, man. Just thanks to everybody again, and Dontrell, Jake, good luck this week. Everybody get out there and vote. Mike, thanks so much for everything we chatted about already, and Marty, man, thanks for doing this for us every week. It's awesome. It's like this was unexpected, and everyone's loving it, and it's super cool to get all this exposure and chat with everybody, and bring sponsors in, bring anglers in, and yeah,
A lot of fun.
pretty awesome.
Do you want to thank D Hooker for the title sponsor of this whole thing? That's pretty cool, Captain Mike. And it's for a good thing, man. We're learning new things that we didn't know before. I mean, and I would have never known about the D Hooker if it wasn't for this. Probably maybe I would have, but
yeah.
But we're seeing what guys are doing with their kayaks, their lives in different part of the country and so forth. And the cool thing is, you guys have people that follow you, and they're like, "Hey, you were on that show,"
And also, Marty, like even within the 16 anglers that are involved in this, a lot of them didn't know each other before, and there's invites flying around all the time. Like, hey, you're ever in Texas? Hey, you ever here?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you're ever in British Columbia? And everyone's like, no, we're never in British Columbia. Okay.
I think I've met Dontrell. I think I've met you, Dontrell, before at one of the KBF things. With Nationals, were you at Nationals?
Yeah, I was at Nationals in 2021 and 22, I think.
Yeah.
It was Gunnersville.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jake, have we met in person though, or not?
I know I've seen you around. I don't know if we've ever officially met though.
Yeah, okay. I know we battled in the KBBT. I know that.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you, gentlemen. And we're going to bail here and end the broadcast. And we want to thank all the people that were on tonight and all the people
for
that
sure.
watched and so forth. And keep voting, everybody. It ends Sunday, right? This Sunday. So,
Sunday night is the end of this bracket and start of the next. But we got a long way to go in this one still. So get in there every day, vote, watch, follow along, ask questions.
All right. And happy hooking there, Mike. Captain Mike.